Welcome everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. Just a little bit of clearing. Take a deep breath, you guys. I felt good this morning, and then after I did this read, some uncomfortable energy started creeping in. And then about an hour later, my lawn guys showed up. So it's very interesting how the energies play out. You might want to notice things about yourself, like when you do have certain changes in the way you're feeling, is there anything attributing to that? So today is 4/27/2020. 27 is a 9. It's also the Ace of Wands. So 9 is about selflessness and compassion and endings. And also the 27, the Ace of Wands, is all about new passion and growth, creativity. The day adds up to 35/8, which is the 9 of Wands, the wounded warrior. So there may be some wounds that you're licking today, but also dealing with new passion at the same time. So there could be a conflict of emotions whenever we go from the 9 to the 1, which the 9 of Wands to the Ace of Wands is 9 to 1. So there's a bit of a conflict there because you're ending one cycle and going into a new cycle. Then we have the SIRIAN STARSEED deck is the deck used in this read. And this was done at 9:32 to 33 this morning. 9 is the Hermit, 32 and 33 are the 6 and 7 of Wands, so the journey and the standing up for yourself without being triggered or learning how to do that, clearing your wounds in order to be able to do that. So the union underlying energies, the way I have this read set up, we have the left is the feminine, the right column is the masculine, the middle column is the bridge between them. The feminine energy is coming in, the masculine energy is going out, 3 cards on either side. And then the underlying energy taken from the bottom of the deck is up here so you could see it, which is the Temperance card. It's called Alchemy in this deck. And then the summary card is the 4 of Pentacles, which is the Divine Masculine and the Bat Cave in this deck. All right, so those are the beginning and ending cards, just like the 9 and the 1. So the underlying energy is the Temperance or the Alchemy card, going into the center card, which is the Starseed, which you see this is just a lush green area, like a jungle in a way, with a big download coming in to the flower opening, right, the crown of the lotus. So merging for a fresh new start. The underlying divine feminine is the Queen of Swords, the 7 of Pentacles, and the 6 of Pentacles, the 3 cards here. Queen of Swords, 7 and 6 of Pentacles. This in this deck to me is also the divine feminine's heart in the E tower. So there's literally like an E tower up here. And there's a masculine sitting out front playing with crystals on their magic carpet. So the Queen of Swords, without her sword, because it's not seen the way the cards are laid out, the Queen of Swords without her sword, stripped of her armor, just being wise. She can only use herself. Just being wise of the feminine within the masculine, or the chariot energy of the 7. The divine feminine in her heart at the E tower, focusing on the right side, which is the masculine. The divine masculine anger from the hurt that the divine masculine left her in her tower, never even knocking at the door or ringing the doorbell. So that goes into the song, someone's knocking at the door, someone's ringing the bell. So that was coming up. And then perhaps a drive-by or a satellite spy, perhaps remote viewing, but never concerned she might die within the lie that you labeled her crazy, insecure, a liar, someone to pity, someone who could never live up to the image of your current partner, family, or community, or perhaps moments of not good enough for her. So how does that deem her unworthy of kindness, compassion, the truth, not pieces of a lie, not being left hung out to dry? She tried to open up to you, but every time she came to the door, you ran back home, requiring from her more and more and more, with little or nothing in return. Her value immeasurable, and yet you put a price on her, and she still wasn't as valuable to you as your worldly possessions, your work, and or your addictions. And the divine feminine still working on getting paid for her time, not letting others abuse her kindness. You deemed the divine feminine as abusing your kindness, when it was actually all the people in your life She never has the chance to abuse or neglect you. You never let her fully in. Comfortably numb at a distance, safe in unhappiness, while destabilized, the Divine Feminine had to work back into finding balance within herself after being destabilized, learning to love herself even when no one else would. You can only rise above the crowd if you are willing to stand alone and be heard. Knowing you will never please everyone, it is not possible. The yin-yang always will require an energetic correction. So that's why most elections don't win by a landslide, because corrections will have to be made. Too much excitement and positivity will be tasked by Saturn in waves. That's where assassinations come up, war, plague, injuries, and illnesses, acts of nature, in order to correct the imbalance. So, and then my mail was at 21,000. I saw a lot of mail in there, but the number was coming up at 1027. And so I looked up the presidential elections to see which one was the biggest landslide, and Warren Harding over James Cox came up as 26.17%. That was the biggest. That was the biggest win in the presidency. And guess what year it was in? 1920. So, what they did note, and that was from World Atlas, that Harding won by denouncing Wilson, who was the prior president, not his opponent, who was James Cox. So he didn't bash his opponent while he was running. He just pointed out the errors of the last president in office. And that was right, that was after World War I and all those issues. So at 1036, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and 36 of the Ten of Wands. And again, as I go through this read, it's energies for the masculine and the feminine, and it's not about bashing anyone, it's about bringing the wounds up along the way in the journey, okay? And on both sides of the coin, not just the feminine or the masculine. So in the 3D, we have the Abundance card, the Ace of Pentacles, and the King of Cups down here, okay? The feminine, the Divine Feminine with open heart to all. The Divine Masculine, King of Cups, mastering his emotions without shutting down his heart, focusing on reflection of eyes, bridged by the Ace of Crystals, the diamond in the rough, exposed. Equals in the Empress rising out of the deep seas at night, his reflection on the surface of calm waters at day, but the deep work, the sword from the stone work, is in coming together in the 3D. So I want you to notice here, from these two cards, they literally mimic each other. All right, this diamond is coming out of the stone, and her diamond is coming out of the water, the deep blue seas. So that was very cool. I never noticed that before. So, and then we have the King of Cups card. It's hard to notice, but his eyes are reflecting on the surface of the water, so it's much more surface oriented, even though it's the King of Cups here, which can just represent also a water sign, masculine, or him being in his heart. So, chipping away at the stone is the hard work. The Chinese labor compared to the ant farm, or the ants, as in your mother's sister, the ants farm. So two different ant farms. So that came up in the Mao Zedong stuff that came up online. There was a YouTube about in 1959 to 61. There was a reporter who went into China and had filmed some footage there and was commenting on how amazingly unbelievable it was how the Chinese farmers were forced to work, and they literally looked like ants on a farm, like chipping away at a mountain in order to create a bridge or throughway. It was just unbelievable to watch. But just like an ant's farm. But then this is also going into your sister's aunt, your mother's sister, that aunt, so both aunts, and then creating bridges and throughways with that energy. You may get some sparkle from the water, Divine Feminine, but the full-cut diamond comes from the coal miner's daughter, going deep into the earth, the blackened with tar, the dirty stuff, the rough stuff, what's not pretty, neat, and clean about you. Remember how you protect, or project, I meant to write, and it came out protect. Remember how you project is the opposite of your subconscious wounds. So however you put yourself out to the world, the opposite of that is the wounds that need to come up. and then feeling into all of us and how we project control in our lives because we feel so out of control in our wounds. So what specific ones are there for you? The 4D is the 10 of Cups, the Starseed, and the Chariot. The 10 of Cups, the Starseed, and the Chariot. This is the 4D, the Divine Feminine with family and emotional fulfillment, being the top dog, the flyer, quote unquote, seen, light shown, and the Divine Masculine, the Chariot, on a mission from the East Indies, perhaps, because we have Durga in this chariot here, and descending without any grounding, like putting your foot down to push off, and nothing is there, no leverage or resistance, no power or force. How to be powerful from within without brute strength or sacrifice of one for the many. How to be seen without setting yourself apart. How to be one with all, connecting from the heart. And that was at 10:58. And 4D, actually, I was getting, before we started 4D, I was getting a connection to my son, to my great-grandfather, which I always have. I always felt like he was my great-grandfather reincarnated. He even has the same scar on his cheek in a smaller version. But that came up at 10:48, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the 8 of Cups, walking away and within. And then at 10:51, my twin connected with me. And that's the King of Swords energy. And now we're at the 10:58, and 58 is the 4 of Swords, which is about the meditation of 5D and connecting that way. So how to be one with all, connecting from the heart. And then that's the 10:58, the meditation of 5D, boldly going where no man has gone before, the bravery, taking risk that feels like no risk at all, because you have a knowing, a trust, a faith, a direct connect to source for the answers. Bridge by Starseed, receiving upgrades and downloads. You see the balance there, right? For every upgrade, there's a download. For a fresh new beginning, a do-over, the energy loop falls backward and then up again naturally. Fall back, spring forward. Hibernation in the winter, up, and summer down on the ground to enjoy the sun. Literally, the big bomb is dropped. Comes from the Divine Masculine in the 5D, receiving from God and passing to the Divine Feminine Empress in the 3D, connecting. This is the bridge between the Divine Feminine Happy Family and the Divine Masculine's mission, move, travel, and or ascension at 11:04, which is Justice and the Emperor. At 11:05 is Justice and the Hierophant, the 5D. Strength on the feminine side, solar deity is the sun in the middle, and then 7 of Swords on the masculine side, which you see here is very much about passing downloads in the SIRIAN Starseed deck as opposed to the normal 7 of Swords card, the liar, cheater, thief card. So it's much more about passing downloads. And just so you can get a good look at the chariot too, it's very much Durga's face there. Let's see if you can get it clear. Okay? It's a very beautiful card. Okay? So some interesting stuff came up here with this. In the 5D, the Divine Feminine bursts through the ring of fire as the white Bengal tiger knows all the magician's tricks. They've been watching and listening, birthing anew, letting out a scream or a roar, with their eye on the Pegasus flying in the sunlight fully exposed. Who's learned from Rudolph, the 9th, dear? But where's Rudolph's 10th? Perhaps someone he's known all his life. Clarice, perhaps? Clear is E, which represents the Divine Feminine. Pegasus and Rudolph have been flying solo. The bridge is the tiger becoming the Pegasus in the light, not through the ring, not performing tricks for the master, but actually being the light, not avoiding it. Eclipse of the sun and central sun is upon us. After the Divine Feminine jumping through hoops, the tiger horse came up, and I looked up tiger horse, and it's literally a horse. I didn't know that. It's an American breed with roots in ancient China, known for spotted skin, like Appaloosa and excellent gait. And that was from horsebreedpictures.com. Established in 1992, the Spanish had no words for leopards, so they used to call them tigers. So that's why it came up as the tiger as opposed to the leopard. So Sulon, it's S-O-U-L-O-N, so Soul-on or Sulon. Sulon leopard spotted horse bred in China during the Tang Dynasty, which I definitely have a past life connection to. And that was about 618 AD. January 1st, 2011, the Sulon Tiger Horse Registry was created. Ancient Iberia breeded with Spanish Genet horse, J-E-N-N-E-T. And so that gave it more of a vibrant coat and smooth gait. And then it was adopted quickly by Native Americans when it came to America, like the Nez Perce, or Perce, I guess, tribe with spotted ponies. They were known for their spotted ponies. The thoroughbreds, though, and Arabians and quarter horses had dominant genes, and so they wiped out a lot of the spotted characteristics of those horses. There's two types of the tiger horse, heavenly type and royalty type. Sound familiar? And their gaits, does that sound familiar? The glider gait, the Indian shuffle, the diagonal foxtrot, running walk, and stepping pace. The tiger is the national animal of India and vehicle of Ayappa, that's Shiva's son, by Mohinis. So he was left on the riverbank and then found by the childless king. Later, the queen had a child and faked an illness only cured by the tiger's milk. So another horse god is Coda-Pen, actually a shapeless stone, and stone was coming up a lot today and yesterday. And so then the feng shui stuff and the Chinese horoscope was coming up, so the tiger and the horse were coming up, and I was reminded that my son was a horse. So that was been interesting since my son was coming up just a little while ago about my great-grandfather, David Lubin. And David's been coming up all week as well. So Pegasus is the immortal winged horse, one of two kids of Poseidon and Medusa. But the brother wasn't really brought up much in mythology. Chrysaor, it's C-H-R-Y-S-A-O-R, but there's not much about him. He's just said to be golden sworded, so he has a golden sword, but he was like a man as opposed to a horse. So perhaps they came out at the same time. They were birthed through her neck when Perseus beheaded her. So they came out like as twins, but divided, I guess, like a centaur twin, like one half man and one half horse, with wings though. So the Divine Masculine in the 5D passing downloads now as he upgrades to their crowns, both of their crowns in the 4D. And then to the Divine Feminine in the 3D as the Empress with the wide open heart, bridging in the 5D strength and risk to fly in the sun, all exposed in 5D where there is no risk, and using wings at 1158, which is Justice and the Four of Swords, again, which is meditating and connecting in the 5D between the masculine and the feminine. At 1159, Justice and the Five of Swords, the conflict, the war within, the tiger tempted, or the tiger tempered, is the horse, and then the horse is tempered into the human risk taker, which is a very untempered human, but compared to a horse is tempered. So the tiger to the horse to the human risk taker, or two specifics or people watching the Divine Masculine pass downloads as the tiger rushes in from the Divine Feminine side and the horse breaks their stride by butting in front of them. So it's like the feminine trying to come to the masculine in the 5D as the tiger busting through the flames, and then this Pegasus horse flies in front of them to block their stride and get in their way. So that may have to do with the energy on the masculine side, trying to block the feminine from getting to him in the 5D. So two watching the Divine Masculine in the 5D, one is key, the sun, the horse, the Pegasus. And that also that's the bridge though too. So, and then my son is a Pegasus, he's also Scorpio, which comes up as the Scorpio here, and then the Pegasus up there, which he is a horse. He also has Leo in his chart as well. So my son came up a lot there. But one of the two watching the Divine Masculine in the 5D, one is the key, the bridge in the 5D, the sun, the horse, the Pegasus. The divine feminine is the abundance in the water amongst the family, strong, eclipsing drama in the 5D. Right, so rising above in the 5D. And, you know, not playing into drama in the family, friends, or community, whatever it is. The divine masculine is the king of cups in the 3D, driving in the 4D, moves, travels, or ascends to risky downloads in the 5D, as the divine masculine is now passing information down to the divine feminine. Okay. So the bridge here is the Ace of Pentacles bursting through the stone on a mountaintop after stonewalled from Jackson when the big bomb dropped into the crown in the jungle to expose all, to Tarzan and his monkey friend, Cheetah. So masculine has a cheetah friend, right? Setting, and you notice the cheetah, I'm just getting that cheetah and tiger and lion, all right, we just, oh my. So I'm going to read that again. The Ace of Pentacles bursting through the stone on the mountaintop after stonewalled from Jackson, who came up yesterday, when the big bomb dropped into the crown in the jungle land to expose all, to Tarzan and his monkey friend, Cheetah. All right, so his monkey friend, and he could literally, Tarzan can literally be the monk, right? He's the monk, and the key is the friend who's a cheater, okay? Setting Tarzan free, because as this bomb drops, right? This big bomb drops all of a sudden, and all of a sudden he knows. And this sets Tarzan free. The tiger has conflict with the monkey, the divine masculine's cheater friend who spoke badly, perhaps about the divine feminine, and perhaps as a block in his life, also trying to block messages between them. That was coming up again too in this read. The outgoing divine masculine energy is the Two of Wands, or the twin flames, the Page of Swords, and then the Queen of Wands. So the twin flames, or the choosing of a path, being at the Y in the road, but choosing that path, a message perhaps not seen, or choosing a path for the Page of Swords and Queen of Wands kids, perhaps. But if the message was not seen, it's coming up as the Queen of Wands blocked it, choosing a new path, but the Queen of Wands used message for her own gain, creating false light or more drama to block the divine feminine from connecting with the divine masculine from connecting with the feminine. And the summary card is that Four of Pentacles, the divine masculine's heart in the Batcave again. Starting from alchemy in the beginning, to the center of the starseed, and then to the masculine's heart. So literally merging through the crown and into his heart. No one can bypass that connection. It's undeniable. And whoever's trying to interfere with messages cannot interfere with that connection because of the cord between the masculine and the feminine. The Queen of Swords to the twin flame. The Queen of Swords here, the first card here to the first card here, the feminine and the masculine. Queen of Swords to the twin flames, then the divine feminine's heart of the Seven of Pentacles to the Page of Swords, and then the Six of Pentacles to the Queen of Wands there. The Queen of Swords twin flame bridges the why me in the road. The divine feminine's heart in the E tower sends a message or doesn't receive his message. The divine feminine balanced, but the Queen of Wands blocking messages with drama, but the divine masculine gets to his heart anyway, choosing to go within and message from a distance. The divine feminine with balance, but they only want more from her without giving in return, so the divine feminine has to discern how much to give to others and how much, when is enough? When is free money, energy, and time enough? And are you getting paid your worth? The divine feminine on the path climbing out of the rock, but the Queen of Wands still getting in his way. So the masculine spending time alone with crystals and not feeding into the karmic energy around him, into their triggers. So whoever's trying to get in his way to block messages or just creating more drama so he can't meditate, right? Because he's too busy all the time. Because someone obviously in his realm understands that he connects with the divine feminine through relaxing and slowing down and meditation. So the more they keep him busy, the more he can't connect, and the more they can keep them apart. So there's definitely someone over there who is strategically doing this. on the masculine side, because they want to use him for whatever he's giving them, whether it's his time, money, or energy, right? Or his know-how. So that is the read for today. I am going to pull an energy card to see what else comes up. There's definitely some clearing coming up. There's some uncomfortable energy that's been coming up today. And it's about, just like I said, like my long guys coming. I've been noticing every time they come, my energy gets uncomfortable when they're here. You know, they tend to look in the windows and that kind of stuff when they're mowing around the house. So it has to do with other masculine energies trying to get to the feminine, and just as the masculine will have other feminines trying to get into his energy. All right, so this is from the energy deck. Take a deep breath, you guys. A little more clear. All right, so from the energy deck, what is our message? What do we need to know? Okay, there's the sunshine. We need the sun. And again, there was a line there about the sun eclipsing the central sun, that we're actually going through this energy, which is very interesting. And again, this card actually looks like that, the sun in front of the central sun. So kind of cool there. So the sun's definitely coming up, and there's more Leo. Oops, sorry about that. And that's more Leo energy. And then we have the envy. All right, so whoever's shining in the light, and look, there's like the feminine hanging out at home, and then the envy of energies around them. It doesn't have to be a feminine, it just has to do with envy. But this is judgment, and that's the magician. Okay, so those who have certain powers or perceived that way and being seen in the sun, there will always be those who are envious around them, just like was coming up in the read about the balancing, right? You can't get too good or too expanded one way, because then you'll be pulled in the opposite direction. So cornucopia is also coming up here, which is the 11, justice. And again, this came up yesterday, so it's about all your abundance. And then the bottom of the deck is the angel of balance. So balance is huge today because there's some negative energies coming up to clear. All right, so again, it's about always come back to center point. Every time you get knocked off balance a little bit, so the energies of, 3 or 4 guys coming onto my lawn to mow it knocks my energies off, because I'm used to more of, just my son being in the house and a very balanced energy. All right, so these are the 3. This is actually the underlying energy. Actually, it's not. Sorry about that. The angel of balance is the underlying energy, and then these 3 cards came up. And this has to do with walking away and within, right? And whenever you're dealing with any extra energy around your conflict, it's about going back and meditating or taking a walk to clear your energy again. And the sun. Going out in the sun is also amazing for that. We just didn't have much sun here today. It's kind of a gloomy day. And then there's the envy again. And then the cornucopia. So there's a lot of conflicting energies here, right? The peace, and then the sun being in the spotlight, and then the envy, and then the abundance. All right? So going back and forth. And so that's been coming up a lot recently, whereas I usually talk about toggling up or down, right? Anchoring down, toggling up. They're encouraging us more recently to toggle from side to side, which has to do with why that adjacent possibilities card keeps coming up, because it has to do with adjacent opportunities. Just like I explained in a fire drill, when they talk about you need to go across floors before you go up or down. So the side to side would be more about going back and forth between your masculine and feminine, whereas the up and down is about the 3D and the 5D energies, right? The angelic realms and the 3D realms. So that's from that deck. I'm going to give you the Kipper deck again. See what's coming up with that. I might do like an all-encompassing, all-sign read today as well. I kind of feel like that. What is the message from the Kipper deck here for everybody? The mature woman. So again, that's that mothering energy. And that's the energy that's coming in for the divine feminine in 3D today. Being very mothering and nurturing and being more mature. And it's also the number of the 6 of the lovers and love, family, and community. Below that card is the privileged lady. So there may be a mother and daughter energy involved, or a mother and daughter team involved, or ones of privilege who are able to help others out. And then bad health. So this may have to do with someone, an inheritance, because the father may be sick, or maybe the father was sick, or this can actually just be ascension symptoms or anything like that. But there could be a mother and daughter who are just waiting for someone to die so they can get the hands on the money. That's coming up for somebody. And that doesn't have to be on the feminine side. That's just the other energy that's coming up here. And then we have official person. So this, if this is an official person, you know, there may be a lot of money involved. So they may just be sitting waiting for that to happen. All right. And they don't have to be negative people, but they can be negative people as well. They just don't, especially the daughter. The mother doesn't bother me as much as the daughter here. She just looks, you know, not the friendliest person, but she's okay. But this, she looks like she's, if you look at her expression on her face, okay, there's a lack of trust in these two, okay? And so, and they may, this could be the masculine too, feeling drained, and they're trying to block everyone from getting him because he's their, you know, he's their ticket or their security. That kind of energy is coming up here. So either way, for the masculine and the feminine, it's coming more of the feminine energies blocking the or making the masculine sick. So again, we have that little girl coming up, and there's something about court here. And this comes up a lot, like, you know, daddy's little girl comes up a lot on the masculine side. Can be on the feminine side as well. But it's like the masculine's partner having certain similarities to the divine feminine. So there may be, you know, parallels on both sides, okay? But it looks like there's some court issues over child issues or just daddy's girl issues. But it has to do with money as well there going on. And then the bottom of the deck is great fortune, okay? So there's definitely something about a house and a car, you see, and the main female. So there might be someone who maybe the partner has all the money, the house, they own that. But there's a wealthy man behind her, okay? So there's definitely issues with property and children and battling out legal issues with money. And let's do a crystal angel card as well. Just one last card for you guys. Take another deep breath. The masculine's candle didn't go out for any specific reason. It just wasn't it wasn't a complete candle, so it burned out. Okay. We have stress reduction, watermelon tourmaline. De-stress your mind, body, and schedule as you need to rest, recharge, and revive. So it's saying really take it easy. Like me, I really need to sit back and just meditate for a little bit. The bottom of the deck is rubellite, passion and purpose. Your enthusiasm gives you energy and motivation to work on a meaningful project that's dear to your heart. Sorry, that's not clear. Okay, and again, that was your watermelon tourmaline. So stress reduction. And maybe something you haven't worked on in a while is calling you back. Maybe it's something that is more restful for you to do. So maybe just to change gears for a minute and do something that you haven't worked on in a while. If you have another passion project besides the one that you're doing currently. So that could be it. But it's really about taking it easy today. Let the wounds come up if you're uncomfortable. Allow your body to feel it. Close your eyes and feel into where it's uncomfortable. To ask what it needs to feel loved. And that can help a lot, as well as meditation, taking walks, salt baths, all the usual stuff, okay? But don't try to push it away. Allow it and love that too. Allow all of the shadow and the light within yourself, okay? And make sure you drink your water. Get your rest. Get your joy in your nature. And I'll talk to you soon. I might do another one today. Rise and be love, you guys. I'll see ya. Bye.